Hello, everyone, to the Pink Fresh family. I am so glad you are here today. I'm Carissa Wiley from sprinkledwithglitter.com here for Pink Fresh Studio today, and we are doing a live that is celebrating the brand new Whispering Views release. You guys are going to love this release if you have not already seen it. It's available now, and I have the products that I'm using today linked in the YouTube description below. So if you're looking for anything, including the colors that I'm using and all that, it's in the YouTube description. It's already there for you. But be sure to check out the complete release. And I saw Kathleen here in the comments. She's moderating for me today. We want to know what your favorite item is from the brand new release. So drop it in the comments, and I'll tell you why you should comment here in just a minute, because I have so much to share with you about all of this today before we can get started. So welcome everyone, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening for you. We are so glad you're here. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, we have something for you. So be sure you stick around to hear about that. As I mentioned already, the brand new Whispering Views release is available now from Pink Fresh Studio. And man, this has me feeling all of the summer vibes, right? Feels like summer. If you saw the reel on my Instagram channel, I used that soundbite from that because it feels like a summer release to me. So, in that new release, we have a blog hop happening today, and there are prizes all along the blog hop. There's 10 $50 gift card codes available. So be sure you head on over to the Pink Fresh Studio blog, start there and hop along to all the participants, leave comments. And then Pink Fresh Studio is giving away the entire complete Whispering Views release on their YouTube channel on the intro video. So be sure after we're done here, you hop on over to that intro video, check out the entire release as we walk you through it, and be sure to enter to win that complete release because, I mean, there's nothing better than free stuff, right? So the other thing I want to mention is if you are watching this live stream live with us today, we are giving away two $50 gift card codes during the live stream. And the way that you enter to win those two $50 gift card codes is that you chat in the live comments there. You can share this in Facebook groups, text messages, emails with friends. Come back, let us know in the comments or in the live chat that you shared this. And then that's another entry to win. So if people have questions and you know the answer, chat along. Let us know what your favorite things are. And those are all entries to win. The other thing that we love for you to do, it's not an entry, but it totally helps us out, is if you could hit that thumbs up button. And if you have not already, be sure to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to turn on the notifications, because when you turn on the notifications, you'll get notified every time we go live, every time there's a new video. So you won't miss all of those new release walkthroughs where you can win the complete release. Be sure you're tuned in to what's going on. I see so many of you in the comments, so many familiar names, and I'm so happy you're all here. I feel like I've been gone from this scene for quite some time, and I was on vacation. I still feel like I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. So be gentle with me today. You guys always are. One more thing I need to talk about, because there is a exclusive free cover plate. I'm going to pop in a graphic right here. Free cover plate die with orders of $50 or more. But here's how this works. This cover plate die is a $21 value. It's never been released in the Pink Fresh Studio shop, and it can be yours for free when you spend $50 or more today. So here's how it goes. This offer is available through July 21st at 11:59 Central Time. I'm looking at my notes just to make sure I don't miss any of the details. It has to be added to your cart from the pop-up before you check out. If you check out and you don't add this to your cart, we can't go back and fix it. So make sure that if that pop-up is not showing, you may have your pop-up blocker turned off on your site, or you haven't accepted the cookies or something like that. So be sure to check those settings if you are not seeing that pop-up. Allow the pop-ups, add it to your cart before you check out, and then you will get this free exclusive cover plate die at a $21 value with every $50 for every $50 order. So, I mean, it's easy to spend 50 bucks, right? Maybe it's too easy to spend $50 now. I remember like in high school, my dad would give me 20 bucks to spend on clothes and I felt like I was rich. Anyway, that doesn't feel like it's the case anymore, but let's get rid of this, but be sure, let's see, I got to point the other way. Be sure to get this because it's a fabulous deal. So let's take it off the screen. We're going to go to the desktop and we're going to peek at what we're using today. So I was totally inspired by Rachel. She has used this Tranquil Waterlilies in such a beautiful way. If you haven't seen the Pink Fresh Studio Instagram today, there's like all of this inspiration with this. So I thought I would use this. And also I'm going to grab the Message in a Bottle product suite. Now this also has a stencil set. I didn't grab it because I'm not using it today, but I will either be using the stamp that says Drifting By to say hello or the press plate that says Drifting By to say hello for my sentiment today, and then the coordinating dies as well. Thank you, everyone. Welcome back. Yes, I feel like I said, I feel like I've been gone for too long. I might not even make it through. I don't know. So this Tranquil Waterlilies set is a stencil die combo. Now the cool thing about this is that you have your stencils and you have the water lilies, the one that colors in all of the areas for your die set, and then your die makes all these fabulous impressions and cuts that bring these stenciled images to life. So you kind of have almost like two stencil sets in here because you have all of these which color in the lily pads and the lilies, the water lilies on top. But you also have these two stencils which create a really pretty like water background. And you can use this background for so many things. It doesn't necessarily have to be water, but look at that. We're going to create a beautiful background with that today as well. So because we have a lot of stenciling to do, I think we should probably get started. I'm going to show you how to line up the one-piece die with the stenciled areas. But keep in mind, you can also use this die to die cut colored cardstock, add a little ink blending for some shading on the ends, and it's a total cheat code for making beautiful die cuts very easily as well. So that's another option. Did you all see, okay, before I get into this, I do have a video on my YouTube channel today. I just wanted to show you. I'm creating with the sippable scenes on my YouTube channel today, so check that out. But I'm going to share with you a little trick that I showed in that YouTube video today. So if you want more details on this, go check that out. But if you ever have a hard time seeing your registration and your etched areas on your die or on your stencil, take a permanent marker and just scribble over the top. I know all of you are freaking out. This is a permanent marker. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spritz some rubbing alcohol on a microfiber cloth. I'm going to wipe this off. Okay. Oh, this wiped off better than my other one. Let me do this again. I bet you it's the towel I used. Okay, so this time I'm just going to wipe off there. And that permanent ink sits inside of those etched lines and makes that more visible. So if you're creating and you are just like, I can't see that registration mark and I need help seeing it, just scribble over the top, wipe over the top with some rubbing alcohol, and you'll be left with the ink just inside those etched parts. And you can see the difference between this registration mark over here and the one that's over here that's on camera pretty much invisible. Now, these are easier to see in real life, and you can use these to line up an A2 panel for this stencil set. However, I'm kind of the girl that likes the easy way, and so what I'm going to do is actually just grab my Misty stamping tool and a piece of cardstock that's a little bit larger than what I actually need, and I'm just going to line these up in that lower right-hand corner every single time as I work through my stencils. So this is my first time using this stencil set. I looked at it ahead of time and I have a plan in my head for what I'm going to do, but we all know how plans go. Sometimes they change, right? So this is my easiest way of lining up stencils. If I put my cardstock in the corner of my Misty stamping tool in the same corner every single time, and I put my stencil in the same corner every single time, I know that it's going to line up every single time. So you can hold this in place with a magnet. You can hold it in place with some low tack tape, whatever you want to do. You can use a grip mat and put it on there, use an A2 size panel. I just honestly, I find this is like the easiest way for me to do this. So I'm going to start out with some greens, and we're going to go with Grassy Knoll over the entire thing. I have all of these colors linked in the YouTube description, by the way. So if you're looking for the colors that I'm using and you're not sure, just look in that YouTube description and you'll find everything that I'm using there. Now I'm using the nice big 1-inch blending brushes because I want to start with a light hand and build up this color, but I wanted to use some true greens, and I also wanted to bring in some like teal on the tips. So I don't know if this is gonna work or not, but we shall see. Okay, if you don't have a Misty, that's fine. You can also use anything with a corner. So even if you had like a T-square that you could attach to your desk, you totally could. So you can do that. It doesn't have to be a Misty. If you have a stamp wheel or other positioner with some sort of squared off corner, you would just do the same thing. All right, so I'm gonna just blend with the Grassy Knoll over the entire areas, and kind of a lighter hand that I'm using here. You can see I don't always make sure that I have the exact same amount of ink over the entire stencil. I feel like that gives me a little bit of variation, and I like that look. And so that's kind of what I tend to do. I just kind of go over areas, get some color down, and then I'm gonna wipe this up. Now, before I move on to the next stencil, I'm actually going to do a little bit of shading with this. So I'm gonna wipe up the stencil with my microfiber cloth, and I'm gonna move to Key Lime. So one darker, I believe, one darker, yeah. This is the one that has pear, is it pear? Yes, pear, and then Grassy Knoll, Key Lime, and then olive. So let's go here and just do some darker areas. And then we're really going to intensify with some olive and then bring in some Tidal Pond, just for a little variation, you know? And I'm just kind of blending some darker spots over the middle of the stencil right here where it's hitting this side of this one and this side of that one. I'm not being like super fussy about it. I just want there to be lights and darks in my images. So I could even bring it in at an angle on this one, and then bring it in at an angle on this one. So you can see I'm not being like super thoughtful about where my blending is. I'm just making highs and lows, okay? Ooh, Allison said she's getting the large blending brushes in her latest order, and she can't wait. They are fabulous. Okay, now one thing I do want to point out is on these stencils, you're going to see a few triangles. You want to make sure that you ink over those. I have plenty of ink on them just by going over the entire stencil, but those are going to be the guidelines for helping you line up your die in the future when we're done blending. So make sure that you do blend over those areas. They can be any color. You can make mud out of them. It doesn't matter. You just want to make sure there's some color down in those areas. Okay, so now we have some variation. You can see it happening here. Now we're going to come in and we're going to add a little more variation, but I think what we'll do for this is switch over to a 1/2-inch blending brush. And that's because it's going to allow me to kind of be a little more precise with where I'm placing my color. So I want to make sure that I'm being a little more precise with this. So I'm going to grab olive, which is my darkest green, and I'm going to go over just some various areas again, concentrating in the parts that I've already deepened up and darkened up, okay? So I'm not building new dark areas, I'm just intensifying dark areas that I already have in place, okay? Sue's going to order the 1-inch blending brush this time. That's awesome. You have to get them while they're in stock because they sell out so often. And I actually need a few more of them, so I might need to just place an order today too, and maybe I'll get that exclusive cover plate. All right. So you see how I'm not making new dark areas. I'm just going over the dark areas that I already have. All right. Anybody have any questions for me? Love the triangle alignment guide that Pink Fresh uses. Yeah, it makes life just so grand, so easy. So I've been gone, some of you know, but I went to go see my kids. We met up in Branson, Missouri. I have one kid in Oklahoma. I have one kid in Arkansas, one kid who still lives with me, but we all met up in Branson and spent some time together. So I was gone for like 10 days. And man, that was a long time. And I still feel like I'm playing catch up and getting back into the swing of things from that trip. And so thank you for your grace today as I kind of get back into this. I did do one live stream last week on my channel, but like I said, I just still feel like I'm just kind of all over the place. I'm not quite locked into my groove yet. Okay, now we're doing a lot of stenciling on this first stencil, and that's because I want to create variation. It'll go a lot faster as we get to the subsequent stencils in this set, so just bear with me as I bring my vision to life. How's that? Now for this is the tidal pond. I want to bring a little bit of this tealy blue into some of the tips here. And it's not going to come across as blue because it is going over that green, and there's some green in this teal already. But it's going to shift those greens just a little bit and create a really beautiful shading. I probably could have skipped the olive color and done this instead, but like I said, I haven't played with this just yet. I just had a little vision in my mind of what this would look like. And so we're just playing with color today, and don't be afraid to play with color. This is only cardstock underneath. If I mess it up, you know, I can always start again. So no big deal. I'm going to bring my shading down just a little bit more on this side. Isn't that pretty? I think it's a beautiful effect. And then we'll bring it in on some of the leaves of the water lilies up here. Do you know what I saw? For those of you who live in the South, this is probably not a big deal for you, but the thing I saw for the first time on my trip were fireflies. I've never seen a fire or a lightning bug. I guess some people call them lightning bugs, fireflies. Never seen one in real life. I was fascinated and amazed. Those are so cool. And the fact that some of you live where you have those all the time, I don't know, maybe you're bugged by them. I didn't mean that as a pun, but maybe you get annoyed by them, but they are so cool and magical. I've never seen that before. So that was kind of something cool that I had never experienced before. Okay, I love the way that teal looks on there, and it's not coming across on camera like it is in person, but it's got this beautiful, beautiful shade to it that kind of like electrifies it a little bit. Oh, Jane's from the Dallas area. All right, so that was stencil 1. Let's go to stencil 2. And this starts out our florals. So I think I'm going to go from dark on the outside to light on the inside. So we will start with some bubble gum. Let's do bubble gum. I'm grabbing Candy Violet. I am in New York, and we have always had lightning bugs. Love them. They're so cool. When I was younger, I saw them. I think that just went by, but in Florida. So we don't have them here in California. So, okay, I'm going to go with bubblegum first. This is the darker of the pinks that I'm going to be using. Just kind of, again, going over the whole area, not focusing too much, but on precise blending, but having some darker areas and some lighter areas, I think brings some interest to your blending. What did Kathleen say? She said, just saying. By the way, friends, when you put the Tranquil Waterlilies stencils and dies and a set of 1-inch blending brushes in your cart, you can already get the free cover plate die. How? Yeah, I told you it's easy to spend 50 bucks. Unfortunately, so easy in this day and age. Like I said, the $20 felt like it went so far when I was a kid. Okay, so I did bubblegum. Now I'm going to take some Candy Violet. And let's go towards the centers of this. And we don't have to do this on all of them if we don't want to. We can create some that are a little bit purple and some that have no purple, and maybe I'll do that. I honestly don't know that I'm going to use all of these images. I'm kind of going to wait and see on that. So maybe I'll leave this one more pink and have some purple come into these. I love the mix of bubblegum and Candy Violet together. I think it's so pretty. Okay, and once I blend that, it looks kind of crazy right now, but as we build, it will get better. Now we're going to go to Stencil 3. And I think, let's see. Stencil 3, let's start with Ballet Slipper. Okay, so we're going to start on it. This needs to be re-inked so bad. Assistant, please come and help me. Also, I wanted to let you know the dogs have a babysitter today. Mr. Glitter is home. He is a math teacher and he's home for the summer, so hopefully the dogs will not make a whole lot of noise for us because they're being quieted if they start to cause problems. Okay, so we have Ballet Slipper over this entire thing, but I think, let's see. Yeah, I think I want to deepen that up. So I'm going to take some bubble gum and just bring like a touch of that in, just to kind of make this layer stand out from the next layer that I'm going to do. I'd love the better press, but do I need that stamp set? I know. It is hard to pick and choose, huh? Okay, so this, just a little bit of bubble gum, and that is really pretty. I don't feel like it's picking up on camera like it is in real life, so hopefully you'll check out the still shots afterwards because those really do bring the cards to life. Okay, so we're not going crazy with it, and the reason that I'm using the 1/2 inch on this area is because I don't want to overdo it with the bubble gum and take over all the Ballet Slipper, but I do want to bring a little bit of that in. And then what I think I'll do is grab, let's see, I need another 1/2 inch, but I don't have one for this color. So I'm going to use a 1/4 inch blending brush and bring a little bit of soft lilac in, just to shift it a little bit into that purple, kind of give it this orchid look when you mix those pinks and purples. All right, so that gives it a little shift. Oh, that's so pretty. In real life, I wish you could see this because the colors are just complementing each other so well. Okay, so that was stencil number 3. Let's go to stencil number 4. This is our we have 5 stencils. So this is kind of the center part of the florals. So you could do a couple of things. You could go with a green. I decided to go with a pink and blend over some orange here in just a bit. So I'm going to go with pink, like bubblegum or Ballet Slipper again. just right over the top of this. You guys are saying so pretty. If you could only see it in real life, it's just really a beautiful look. Okay, no purple on this one. I'm going to leave these pink. Okay. So you get that lightness in there. It looks almost white on camera, but there's a touch of pink. And then we're going to go to stencil number 5, and that's these like detail areas in the centers. And what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to bring in some orange. So I'm going to go to apricot. Now I pulled out a ton of inks for this. You don't have to use as many inks, but look at all that you can create when you bring in a few extra inks to create various shades. Okay. And these just build up so nicely. I'm going to look at, see how much of the orange I have on there now. Very light. So I'm going to come in with a little heavier hand. You can see I just threw that stencil right back in that lower corner and it lined up perfectly for me. This is just a little cheat method that I like. So, okay, we have a little more orange there. We could go a little deeper if we wanted to. Okay. I'm going to call that good. Wipe that off just so I'm not getting ink everywhere. So this is the actual images. Now, they're kind of like, they're beautiful, but they're kind of, well, they could use a little something, something. And that's where the die comes in and brings the magic for this set. So, should we blend our background first before we die cut this? Let's do that. I think, yeah, I'm going to use this blue and let's cut it down to an A2 size card. And that way I can show you how to line up the stencils if you're just using an A2 panel. So you're getting a couple ways, methods that you can line up these stencils. So let me just grab my trimmer here. I'm going to trim this down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It's already trimmed to 5 1/2. So I'll just trim it down to 4 1/4. This is Seaside cardstock. It's a Spellbinders cardstock. I'm going to wipe up my mat because I see green on here and I don't want to get it on my blue. So in these corners where my registration marks are, this is the background stencil that comes with the set. I'm scribbling this so you can see. I'm only going to scribble on one side of this so that you guys can just see what I'm talking about. But know that there are 4 areas where you have registration marks in the corner. So you see this one here? There's one of those in each corner. And so I'm going to take my cardstock and I'm going to line up my cardstock where it hits those 4 corners on the stencil. So I'm just kind of shifting this around. And then what you can do is take some low tack tape and I'm going to use just some mint tape from scrapbook.com. So just like a low tack Post-it tape works. Once you get it centered up in your stencil, you can place this right over. So this is layer number 1. It's lined up with all 4 of those registration marks that are in the corners. And I'm going to start with Ocean Breeze. And I'm going to grab my other blending brush because I didn't grab this one out. And I'm going to blend Ocean Breeze right over the stencil. Don't forget, I feel like, and this is part of what I shared in my video with that sippable scenes today, you can blend on colored cardstock. The thing that you want to remember is to either use a complementary color that you're blending over. So I'm using a blue on a blue cardstock, or you want to make sure that your cardstock is really light and that you use a little heavier hand over that light cardstock when you're using colors that are different than the cardstock that you're using. So let's go through this. And this would be really pretty with some shimmer stuff like a spray or something if you have that in your stash. But I think we'll stop there. Let's see what we have. Ooh, that's really pretty. I'm gonna put it back down for just a second. And let's play. Let's play. I'm gonna grab some soft lilac. And I'm just gonna wipe off my brush because I think Candy Violet was on here last and I don't want this to be too dark, but I'm gonna grab some soft lilac. Oh, you can do a white pigment ink on first. Yes, you can do that. And then blend a colored ink over the top. I just like, sometimes I don't want to fuss with it, you know? Okay, let's do that. Just a touch of that purple. Oh, love that. Okay, so that's stencil number 1 of the background, and here's stencil number 2 of the background. Now I'm going to take the same panel, and once again, those 4 registration marks that are in the corner, I'm going to line up my cardstock with those and then hold it down. And then I'm going to grab aquamarine. And we're going to tap it off because we don't want to go like crazy with this, but we want it darker than the other. Okay. So, but we don't want to go full force with the aquamarine. So I'm just tapping off, blending on lightly. You can always check your progress. So pretty. And then lay it back down if you want a little more. I'm going to go just a little darker in the center. Okay. And then I think that's enough. How are we feeling? What is it? What is the background? The background's like a water scene. It's like a water scene, but you could use it just as texture on a card front too. Okay, so I think I've used all of my colors that I got out today. That was a lot of ink colors, but we created something really beautiful. I'm gonna just move those off to the side, and let's put these aside. I'm gonna turn on my foil machine because I think I want to foil my sentiment. So I'm just going to let it heat up while we're doing a little bit of die cutting here. So I have my 2 pieces ready to go. I have a background, I have my images. Isn't that beautiful? So pretty. And now I'm going to grab the one piece Tranquil Waterlilies die. It looks like one big flower. So pretty for backgrounds. Yes, it's so pretty. The background is gorgeous. The stencil is so unique. I agree. Abstract peony. You could probably, if you are talented, it's a beautiful, how do you keep glue bottle from not clogging? I'll give you some tips on that in just a second. But if you were really like an artsy kind of person, you could probably take like a black marker and draw in some outlines and bring it more to like a flower look with that. Okay, so here is my 1-piece die. And what I'm going to do to line this up, do you remember our triangles on our blended panel? I need to make sure that those triangles line up with the die opening, the triangle die opening. So you see how there's 3 triangles? I'm making sure that the entire area of those triangles is filled with ink when I look through the die. So you can see here, I see ink, there's no white, ink, there's no white, ink, there's no white. Then I can hold this in place. I'm going to just use that same low tack tape that I used before, and I'll run this through my die cut machine. Love the dies that add dimension. I know. So you saw how kind of like, even with our blending, these have shading and dimension, but watch what happens. This is really going to bring some dimension to these die cuts when we run it through the die cut machine, because it's not only going to die cut the outline, but it's also going to add like texture and dimension to it. So I'll run this through my die cut machine. And I have a little tray here that I can put these in. Vicky says the triangles are genius. I agree. And look at that. Look at how those die cut lines just add so much to the lily pads and the florals. And I want to show you something that, do you see the bleed that you have on the stencils? There is a little bit of extra ink that goes over your paper from the stencils, so that if you don't line this up like the most perfect, then you're still going to have edge to edge color on your florals and on your lily pads here. So look at that. Let's see. There we go. Do you see all the texture that was added to these die cuts with that die? Just one run through the die cut machine and it's like pure magic, right? Okay, so let's remove that. And here is what I'm thinking. Again, just so inspired by my friend over at Pink Fresh on the team. I'm thinking we use, oops, I have a big magnet on there and it's like running across. I'm thinking maybe we use the elongated ovals on this and trim down this background. Maybe I want a larger one. I'm going to start with larger and then we can always go smaller if we want to. But the question is, do I want to use this elongated oval or do I want to use blanket stitched? Ooh, interesting. You know what? I said that on our trip so much. Ooh, interesting. And I can't remember. It's like from a movie or something, but I don't know what movie it's from. If you know, just let me know in the comments. The lilies are cute. And do you see how it looks almost like you took several layers of cardstock and like stacked them up on each other to make this? But you didn't. You just die cut that and blended it all together. And you can bend on these lines a little bit and bring it kind of dimensional here. Need a second job for all the pretties. The water looks realistic. Ooh, stitch. Okay. Stitching it is. That was the first one I saw. Let's do this. I'm gonna just bump it up a little. Right there. I think that's where I want. Now here's the deal. I'm really close to the edge on this top side. So this is what I do sometimes. If I am worried about it, I just take this once I have it and make sure that I don't see any blade. And I do see a little blade. So I'm going to move this down just a teensy. And then I'll flip this over just to make sure I don't see any blade. If I don't see any blade, I'm good. I'm not going to run off of my cardstock. I have that held in place. Cutting in to the magnetic mat for this, which is not a problem. I do it all the time. It needs a little frog. That would be so cute, Sue. I agree. It needed a little frog. Although, if I see frogs in real life, I am totally grossed out. But a little cartoon frog, never minded a little cartoon frog. Okay, so I ended up with the, that was the blanket stitched elongated oval that I used there. And my glimmer machine is ready. So I'm going to go ahead and do my sentiment here. Now, a lot of you are mad at me because I wasted this white cardstock by using a really large piece, but I'm just going to use it to do my sentiment here. So I'm going to trim off a piece. I don't need much at all. And I'll just reuse that. Let's see. You guys are just going, or a dragonfly. Okay. There is a dragonfly, Deb. There is a dragonfly in this release. It is in the Sippable Scenes set, so you could totally grab that dragonfly. Let me show it to you. I actually have it on this card. Do you see this little dragonfly here? You could totally use this. This is from Sippable Scenes. You could use that on over with your water lilies. So cute. That's such a great idea. The background reminded me of The Little Mermaid when Sebastian was singing the Kiss Me song. Kiss me, girl. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there. I'm all heated up. I'm going to set my timer. While my timer is running through its little time, I'm going to snip down a little piece A frog as a pet? Oh, not as a pet. Question, are the inks reactive to water so that if you splatter water, we can see it? I believe to some extent you would see that. I don't know that they're necessarily like super water reactive, but I think that you would be able to see it in the background. Like if you were creating an ink blended background. Honestly, I don't do a lot of water splatter. So someone asked about keeping the glue from clogging. So let me grab this real quick. So here's my glue. I have the larger one too. What I would do is not only tap it down, but I would make sure that between I cleared out any glue that was in the tip by kind of burping it. So like you would tap all the glue down to the bottom and then burp the tip by just kind of giving some pressure and squeezing out any glue that's like left in the tip, and that may keep you from clogging your glue. So I hope that helps for whoever was asking about it. They aren't reactive as such like oxides. Yeah, you may get a tiny bit of reactivity, but I don't think you're gonna get like tons of reactivity. Okay, so this has run through its timer sequence. I have ink everywhere today. And I'm gonna do this backwards from what I normally do it. So I like to let it heat up on my plate. Once the timer's done, I remove my platform from the base, and I'm gonna take my scrap of foil and put it with the pretty side down. Then I'm gonna add my cardstock right over the top, and I'll grab the thin shim and the spacer pad that come with the glimmer machine, place those on top, and just run this through my die cut machine right here. My pressure felt a tiny bit light on this one, so we'll see what kind of foiling we got. Oh, it's fine. It's beautiful. Drifting by to say hello. Little bit of shine for our card project. I'm going to take this off, let it cool, turn this off because it is hot already today where I'm at, and I don't need to be making extra heat here in the craft room. I love a foiled everything. Well, Julie, my friend, I love a foiled everything too. Give me all the foil. Okay, I'm gonna take the coordinating, this is the message in a bottle press plate set that this sentiment is coming from. And now I'm going to use the coordinating die to die cut the sentiment out. And we may have to like just die cut an extra layer or two just for funsies. I'm gonna line this up over my foiled sentiment. I need to get my head over, so I apologize if I'm in your way. Okay, there we go. Have it lined up. Hard to see on camera, but I'm gonna run this through my die cut machine. You love that shine, don't you, Carissa? I sure do, Bo. I can't handle it without a little bit of shine. My grandma loved sparkle too and shine. My grandma used to say that a day without cheese is like a day without sunshine. So at least I don't have cheese on my cards today. Funsies, haha, I see that. Oh, Jane, you've got to try your glimmer. I have so many videos on my channel of doing foiling. So if you're looking for those, there's some videos here as well. I believe I've created a foiling video for Pink Fresh Studio way back in the day that's still available on the YouTube channel. So don't be afraid. It's just paper. Learn something with it. Don't get frustrated. Give it some time. You know, learn your machine, but it's so worth it. Foil is so pretty. I always go for gold. I need to use other colors, don't I? Susie, you can, but I use a lot of gold too. So it's like I would be, you know, I can't judge because I like the gold too. Every now and then I'll use some silver. I like a matte silver. It's beautiful. A plain silver. Sometimes I use like the iridescent holographic silver. It just depends, but I tend to go for I tend to go for gold a lot too. Bo asked if my grandma is your grandma Italian? No, she was not Italian. She was just a mix of like Pennsylvania Dutch and German, and I don't know what Pennsylvania Dutch is, but that's what she always told me. Pennsylvania Dutch. She was born right in the middle of like the Great Depression era, so that may be a term that they don't use anymore. I'm not sure. Okay. You know what? I don't know that I want to do like all of these. Maybe I just want to do like 2. I'm not real sure what my final layout is like going to be. So this may be the hard part for me. Maybe we just do like a couple lily pads and like, well, I'm just trying to decide what I want to do here. Maybe we just do something like this. I feel like this oval is too big. Like I want to bring it in. So I had a feeling I might want to do that. And so I'm going to drop it 2 sizes. Yeah. Okay. This may be a little much, but we'll see. Oh, my heart just went pitter-pat seeing the beautiful flowers and lily pads. It's so unique, isn't it? Just a little bit different vibe and so fun to play with. Lots of fun products. I didn't see you all say your favorites earlier. Did you put your favorites in the chat? I was probably just creating. Melissa says, I love watching your process. Well, thank you. You're getting the real deal here because honestly, I did not know what I was going to do. I knew what I wanted to use, but I didn't know, how it's all going to lay out in the end. So I think I like this smaller. I know I'm going to cover up a lot, but I think I like the tightness of the design here. Just like something like that. I think that's perfect. And then we can just put it on a white card base. We could add some texture if we wanted, but it doesn't necessarily need it. I don't think. It's kind of beautiful and stunning like that. And then I have 2 more pieces that I could actually use on a whole other card because I've only used a few pieces here. I learned so much from these videos, says Kelly. Well, I am so happy about that. The beach houses are my favorite. Okay, let's see. I love it all. Hard to pick just one. I'm going to have a sip of coffee there, and then I'm going to commit. I'm going to stack up my die here first, and I have my glue. Now, I took the large bottle of Pink Fresh glue and put it in a fine tip bottle. And I do find that this glue, if it's been sitting for a minute, like a day or 2, I just like to shake it a little and just kind of get it mixed really well. And so I'm going to use the liquid glue to add on top of my plain white die cuts here. And then just stack up the foiled version right on top. And use my fingers to just make sure everything's lined up. Pivot. Jody, I'm a pivoter. Do you ever use extras on the insides of your cards? I don't, Erika, but you totally could. The sippable scenes is my favorite, says Carmen. I love the bottles. Miss Tamp, that's the sippable scenes. Coastal Paradise is my favorite. Fettuccina says she's going to check first what her favorite is. Love it. Okay, let's get some foam adhesive on this bad boy. The smaller background looks great. Yeah, I think it was the right choice. Sometimes you've got to be unafraid to just make a change in the middle of it all. I thought I wanted more of that background, but I just felt like I needed that pivot. Bo Gilmore, where does the, Those are, I got these from, I believe they're Gina K fine tip bottles. There's probably some on Amazon. I'm using the Pink Fresh glue, Amy. There's liquid glue from Pink Fresh Studio. It comes in a larger precision clear craft glue. So it comes in the larger, or it comes in, I just had the pen and now I can't find it. It comes in the 2 sizes. So I took this larger one and filled up this little bottle so that I would have that precision tip. Carissa, what is the brand of the liquid glue bottle you have and where did you get it? Okay, I just addressed that, so we're good there. All right, let me do foam. Susie Stamper, it always has to be yelled, pivot. Yep, for sure. That is one show that I can watch the reruns all the time. I think partially because when you grow up with something, right? I kind of grew up with Friends. That was kind of my era, I feel like, in high school and into my college and early adult life. Okay, so I'm going to do kind of like this maybe. And you can see how all of that graduated blending is coming together. Question, how do you keep the glue bottle from not clogging? I tried to burp in a pen. What's the best pen? You want a stainless steel pen. So make sure it's stainless. Otherwise it can rust in your bottle and then it will discolor your glue and all of that. So burping, tapping it down, make sure you store it upright once you tap it down, because if you don't store it like this, once you tap it down, or even the pen, then you're just allowing the liquid glue to go back in it again. So many Friends episodes. I know, I saw Jody mention it too, so I was like, oh yes, for sure, pivot. Okay, so I'm gonna do this little guy on no foam, but this guy I put on foam, and then I did a little, curling to bring some life to this flower. And honestly, can I do this on the tips too? I could, of the lily pads. Little curl. Let's do that. We're bringing this in. We're almost there. Okay. That gives this a little separation between the greens as well, so I like that. Then I'm going to do this. I have a little glue like leaking out. And then I'm going to put that there. And let's grab my tweezers, because I can kind of just, I'm looking at the screen because it kind of helps me figure out where I want that. We're going to add, should we add foam on this guy? Let's add foam. No pivot episode today. Oh my gosh, someone said, OMG, this is turning out so cute. Kelly, thank you. I think it's adorable too. I have to tell you, you have to go look at the inspiration from this by Raquel. It is beautiful. I mean, stunning. She does such an amazing job. And you know me, I'm not afraid of a big card and a lot of foam adhesive, so I'm doing it here with the foam on the back of a stacked up sentiment, because why not? Okay, I'm gonna let it, I'm gonna move this over. I'm gonna let it like drift across my lily pad here. So I'm gonna let the sentiment kind of drift onto my lily pad and off of that edge. Totally fine with that. And then this probably needed to be put down first, but I'm thinking we just slide this under. Sometimes, again, pivoting, right? Let's see. Do we like this? Oh, I think I do. Okay. Now, I'm going to put some foam adhesive on this. Just some bigger ones right here. Maybe just one big thing in the middle. I missed the pivot reference from Friends episode. Amazing inspiration for all of the sets. Yeah, and as I mentioned, if you came in late, you didn't hear this, but there is a blog hop happening today featuring this brand new release from Pink Fresh Studio. So you need to go check it out, because not only is there going to be tons of inspiration, but there's prizes. There's 10 $50 Pink Fresh Studio digital gift card codes up for grabs. Plus over on the Pink Fresh Studio YouTube video that introduces this whole new Whispering Views release, you can find a giveaway for the entire release. Plus today we're giving away 2 $50 gift card codes to those of you who are in the live chat. And if you're watching on replay, we have 2 $50 gift card codes for you as well. You just need to leave a comment in the comments section. Let us know what your favorite thing is from the release so that we can check it out. So someone said, Melody said, are Raquel's cards on Instagram? Haven't seen them yet. They were on the, I saw them on the Pink Fresh Studio Instagram this morning as well. Yeah, give her a follow. Give all of the designers a follow. That helps them out. Leave them a comment. We love to see your comments. We don't always like respond to every single one of them, but we see them, and it is so encouraging for everyone with that. So, all right, let's put this guy right smack dab in the middle of this white card base here. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get myself centered here. Recentering. Okay. I'm going to go there. Sometimes I need to look. Did I get it in the middle? I think I did. Good. Sometimes when I can't get my head right over it. Isn't this pretty? Just simple, beautiful. We have the shine of the sentiment there. And I wish that the shading on all of the florals was coming through, because I feel like all that purple and pink mixed together is not really coming through on video. So now I'm going to grab my triangle tray. This was a great live. Thanks, Carissa and Pink Fresh. Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm going to grab my triangle tray, and I'm going to grab a few of these. I don't think I linked these because I grabbed them at the last minute. I'm going to grab the iridescent clear drops, the ones that don't have the silver backing, Kathleen. So if you do drop it in the comments, it's the ones I don't normally use, but I love them. But these have almost like a little purple, like, goodness to them, and so I feel like they are perfect for this because it picks up the purple that we blended into the water, as well as those water lilies. So I'm going to add a few of these, and I'm going to just finish off with these. Did we have the winners already? Oh my gosh, I missed them. Look at me. Oh, Erika. Oh, I don't want to mess up your name. Erika B. Bruccoleri, and Brooke. Oh my goodness, you guys have hard names for me. Brooke Moncivais. Oh my gosh, I just butchered your names. I'm so sorry. If in real life you were here and could tell me how to say it, I would really appreciate it. But Brooke and Erika, you need to contact customer service at pinkfreshstudio.com to claim your $50 gift card code. They will get it out to you in a couple of days. I apologize again for the name thing. I tried really hard, and I know what it's like to have a name that's mispronounced, and so I really apologize for that. But I'm so happy for you that you get to shop a little. Don't forget, let's move me over to the side and bring this back in. Don't forget about the free cover plate with $50 orders. You have to add it from the pop-up before you check out, but it's a free $21 value exclusive cover plate die with every order of $50 or more. Now through July 21st at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. So you can grab that, add it to your order, and Pink Fresh Studio is going to give you that fabulous little gift with your order. So I hope you take advantage of that as well. All right, let's get this last little drop on there. I think it's beautiful. It was like the perfect little way to end this card. Let me give you a little peek at it, and then we will let you go for the day so that you can check out all of those videos, all of the posts, the blog posts, the release video from Pink Fresh Studio so you don't miss any of those giveaways that are happening today. Let me move that and I will just show this to you. Look at that. And those drops, can't really see it on camera, but they have this beautiful iridescence to them. And the liquid glue will dry clear so that you can really see that color coming through. But I think it's like the perfect way to just dress up this card and just bring a little bit of extra. I feel like it's just getting a little washed out with the lights, but there it is. Gorgeous card, Carissa. Love it, and watching your wizardry. Thank you, TK. I'm so glad you're here. As I mentioned before, if you're watching on the replay, let's go here. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. Tell us, hey, tell us what you love about this new product suite. Tell us what you love about the new Whispering Views release, and we will pick two $50 gift card code winners there as well. So if you're watching on replay. Also, for all of you watching, whether you're on the replay or live, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on the Pink Fresh Studio YouTube channel. We don't want you to miss any of the card making, paper crafting video tutorials and live streams that we share here. There's so much. Question, how did you know to downsize the water? Well, it just felt like too much. And so it just felt like it needed to like tighten in around the elements that I had. And so that was the way that I decided to do that. So don't be afraid to experiment with different sizes. And if you're afraid to cut down your water at first, what you could do is just die cut those out of some white cardstock first. Try your elements on plain white cardstock on those sizes, and that might help you determine like what size you want to use when you actually die cut your water. But I started big knowing that I could go smaller if I wanted to. Thanks all for watching. I'm so glad you're here. I will see you soon again here on the Pink Fresh Studio YouTube channel. Until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.